And one A.J. Seymour, who was then some kind of community relations officer, invited the summer students to help Austria with their evening classes. A number of people started off. I would say that I maybe survived the others, teaching economics, teaching for level economics of all things. And the summer ended. There was one student who, Miss Washington, who was pretty well, very interested, a teacher. So I went back to school and then came back in '67. In '69, Austria sent out some letters to members of staff, more or less saying, you've enjoyed certain things you should share with your brothers and sisters. And I responded. There was a change in the makeup of Austria leadership then. In fact, they were now younger guys. One, Odinga Kwamina, was one, and another one was a Bristol. And they were much more aggressive, and they outlaid their plans for a school, a night school, and the aims to have people trained to have 5 levels in a year or two. I didn't think it was possible, but I stayed on, and in fact, I more or less ended up virtually as the chief teacher or something there, those classes running it. And I will say frankly, we had a big issue because these younger group who had thrown out the old politics of the day, the younger politicians of that time in Austria said, no Kuliman, no Buckman coming to this school. And in fact, I argued with them, and I would like to believe because I was important enough, they seemed to accept it for a while, but it was always something that was likely to bubble up to the surface. Anyway, it came back again. The issue came up one time, and by then nationalization was in the air, and I said, you know what, let's hold nationalization, going to take up our time. And then some while after, one of the guys at Austria came and they said to me, you think you could run the aluminum plant? And I said, maybe, but why you ask? And he says, well, Forbes had said to Eusi, organize, I'm going to nationalize, organize, and Eusi at that time, he said, had the belief that Austria, Eusi and Austria would be put to run the new bauxite operations. And so I took the initiative. I thought that we could do something better. I had one, Mr. James Blackman, and later Mr. Clarence London working with me, and we started to put together some ideas for organization and so on and so on. And that took us to Eusi, who was then head of GMC, and in that old building there at the corner of Lombard and Princess Street or somewhere. So we had some meetings with him from time to time. And then subsequently things changed, and as was indicated there, I think things changed. I think the challenge for all people, and particularly I would say for Africans, is that the period of slavery and so on had been so intense, and even in our own situation in Guyana, in independence and nationalization, one organizes with slogans which don't take you along after. It's good to struggle in protests and so on, but taking on the responsibilities afterwards for production and for doing, that has been, in my view, where the challenges have been. It'll be interesting at other times to talk about how the bauxite industry progressed. And I think it's necessary for us to see all sides of this issue. I would maintain that our new local people after nationalization never got as close with the workers, for many good reasons, as the last set of white expatriate managers. That's something I would maintain, for the simple reason, we wanted, the new blacks wanted to identify with the white managers at the beginning, or with the living in the white houses with all the white things. And the workers wanted to identify with the black staff, the new black staff, and that created quite a bit of tension and so on. I would say in this same strike, the Ryla strike, I was at home, and I think Eusi we were talking about things then, and the white minister at the Anglican church, is it? The guy that came, he told me the workers are going to march tomorrow. They need leadership. They want leadership. I guess he was telling me I should get out there and be his leader. There was a thought around that he was a MI6 man in the area, and so that would have posed some problems, particularly for the Prime Minister of the day, who had much more powers and authorities than the Prime Minister of today. So I thought we would have talked a bit more about the events and incidents of that time, and I came to put my view, my experiences of that time.
Thank you, Prime Minister.